Hello and welcome finally to my live this evening. I do apologise for the late start. I had to go on a mission to go and collect something which I thought was going to be a very simple, short journey. Turned out to be quite the opposite, but never mind. We collected what we needed to collect, and I'm back sat at my craft table. So, hello. Oh, you've got two of me. Okay, so we are using the Jolly Words stamp set, which is this one here. And this has been our stamp set of the week, and also the set that we used for coffee and card. And we're going to do something different with it this evening. So this was inspired by a lady called Kimberly Tolbert. I believe she's an American demonstrator, and this features the ho 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 element, but you could of course use either of these as well, or in fact any other sentiment. Sorry about this reflection. And it features a little window card onto the sleigh and the Father Christmas and the reindeer. So I thought I put this together very quickly before I had to go out, and so I'm going to recreate this from scratch with you this evening. It features a few new products as well. Hi Carol. Thank you so much for joining us, and also it looks like Zana's joined us, so hi to you too. I'm not normally here at this time of night, as you know. So this is the set that we're using, and I'm going to be using a couple of other products. One is some new papers. Now these papers have just been released and they don't appear in the catalogue. Trying to grab them. Here they are. So they are called Shining Christmas, and these have just been released, so they're available while stocks last, and they're foiled on one side, and then we have this plain colour on the other side. So let me show you the foiled sides. So we've got these lovely Christmas trees with red foiling in. Now it's really difficult in the evening obviously to show you this. I'm just going to bring this up outside of the light hopefully. So we've got Christmas trees, two of those sheets, and on the reverse we've got this stripy pattern, and then we have these presents, and the red bows are foiled, and then we have this white background with the red, and two of those, and then we have this lovely stripe pattern. If I just bring that up there, so we've got red and mossy meadow, I think that is, and that one with the light bulbs, and then we have an argyle pattern here, and some baubles on the reverse, and then we have some holly with the dots on the background, and then we're back to the beginning one, which is the candy canes and the little crosses on the front. It's a really fun pack of papers. Because they're foiled, they are a little bit more expensive than our normal papers, so they're £14, but each sheet could do 6 cards, and the colours are cherry cobbler and mossy meadow. So I'm just going to use this piece only because it's an offcut of that one, and I'm also using these new self-adhesive glimmer sheets. They come as a pack of 2. You can see how sparkly they are. really sparkly, and there's no shed either. That's the nice thing about it. Sometimes with inexpensive glitter card they can shed the glitter, but this is all encapsulated, really bold. And the good thing is there's a self-adhesive sheet on the back, so this is perfect for die cutting or for punching, because you can just peel the back rather than having to attach some sheet to the reverse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an aperture in my card. This one opens like so, but I'm going to do, oh no, this is the same. I thought I might have done it differently. And I'm going to cut an aperture with some of these dies. These are from the Nested Essentials, and there's a whole series of dies in here. These are the two largest of these hexagonal shapes, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on here and cut through with the actually with the smaller one to create the window, and then I'm going to put these two together onto a sheet of the gold self-adhesive glimmer card and cut those out as a frame, which will give me this element here. Now if you didn't have a glitter card, you could just cut this out of plain cherry cobbler, for example, or pick up another colour if you wished. We're also going to add a window sheet on here, so you can probably see that reflecting anyway in the light here. And I've got a piece of window sheet, and I'm going to cut that also out with the dies. So let's get started. Now I have got a piece for the inside, because what I'm going to do is just put that on temporarily to stamp our image, and then I'm going to colour that in, but on the separate piece of card, so it doesn't go through to the back of this piece here. At least that's my plan. Okay, so let's start with the frame. So all I'm going to do for that is position these two pieces together. Now there are 4 frames in this style, so you could make this smaller. These are the largest 2, and there's some other tags and things as well included in this set. A really useful set. It's called Nested Essentials, and that actually features in our class in a box for this month. So I'm just going to use some tape, so you could use washi tape or post-it tape or a post-it note, and I'm just going to pop that to keep these 2 layers roughly together. Okay, and remember this has got adhesive on the back, and I'm just going to pop that through our die cutting machine. I'm going to leave that just off camera because I haven't got much space, so just pop that through. So this pack has bright silver and the bright gold. Okay, so I just peel that away, and so I've got my frame here, like so, and I've also got the inner piece. So I'm just pulling that away from the back. There it is. So I can use that, that's self-adhesive. I could use that on a different coloured background, so I'm going to keep those somewhere safe. So that's going to be our frame, and I'm going to cut out the window sheet and adhere it to the back of the frame. So I know you can't see much of that, probably you'll see the reflection. So I'm going to cut this out in the largest size. That will just about fit on there. That was just an off-cut of window sheet, but you could use acetate you can use the piece of acetate you get in the stamp case. Okay. Just bring that back. I've run it through twice just to make sure it's cut through okay, which it has. There it is. Hopefully you can just about see that. Okay, so I'm actually going to put this on the back of my frame here. So you can do it one way or the other, which doesn't really matter. So I'm just peeling off a little bit here. And you can either put this down onto there or put the window sheet onto there. Let's bring a little bit more of that off. I think this is probably the easiest piece to see. Doesn't matter which way round this goes. It's got some stitching, but you don't see the stitching anyway because it's going to be hidden. Yeah, this is definitely easier to do it that way round. Okay, just let that go down. So there we've got our little window sheet with the frame. Hi Teresa, I hope you're keeping well. So there is our frame, and that's going to be the equivalent to that one there. Okay, so what I need to do now is put an aperture in here, and so I'm just going to, I think I could just attach that to start with. So let's do that. Yes, and of course that's just run out. Right, let's try some glue. So I know the aperture is going to be cut out of the middle section. So I don't really need to put glue in that middle piece. Okay, so this is the front of my card. This is that new paper. Okay, so I fitted that on, and now what I'm going to do is find the top to my glue. I'm going to take the smaller of the two pieces, okay, to create my aperture. Now you could do this slightly high and have a sentiment underneath, or you could put it centrally. In this one I put it centrally. I think there's enough going on, but you could have it slightly high, and then I guess you'd have more space on the inside. So maybe I'll do one slightly high and we can see which one looks best. So let's position this up a little bit, and I can use the crosses to help me position it, or you can just go for it. So I'm going to make sure I've opened this out and run it through my machine like that. And you want to make sure that when you're putting something through the machine, like so, that where possible you don't have a straight line to the edge of the plate. So I'm going to rotate this so that the pressure is taken across here rather than straight. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that in my machine and cut that one out. And I've just run it backwards and forth, and did you notice that there wasn't a big clunk, and that's because I put it through at an angle. And before I take this off, I just want to make sure that it has cut right the way through, because it is going through the thick cardstock and also the patterned paper. So by checking before you take this out, you don't have the need to go and put it back in. And obviously I've got this piece here that I can use for something else. Okay, so this is going to go onto here in a minute, and that's going to be our front panel, and we need to have our scene behind. Before I do that, I want to mark where my scene is going to go so that I can stamp and colour in my image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this piece here, which is going to be my inner, and I'm just wondering, I think I don't know whether to stick it down or tape it down. Just going to tape it. It's a straggly piece of tape. Sorry about that. Okay, right, just to hold that in place, and then all I'm going to do is take a pencil and draw where that aperture is going to be. And you want to obviously do this before you put your window sheet in. Okay, I'm hoping you can see that. Okay, so I can take this piece out or I can leave it in as is. You could just stick the whole thing down, but I'm not going to do that because that gives me an opportunity to make sure I stamp it correctly. So here is my stamp. So I'm using the Ho Ho Ho, and I'm going to grab Pebbled Path. So hi to anybody who's joined us since we started. Thank you for watching along, and I apologise for the late evening session. Maybe it suits some people better, I don't know. Okay, so just giving that a good ink up with my Pebbled Path, and I'm going to stamp this in that where that aperture would be. Now I want the Ho 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 to show, and I'm not too worried about the bottom of the reindeer, so I am just going to bring this down a little bit. From that position. Hopefully I've got that right. Ooh, I think so. Okay, so if you can see where that is, so it's a little bit further down, so I haven't cut off that top piece. And then if I put it in here, and also you can adjust this a little bit when it's in here anyway. Okay, you can see the whole of that Ho Ho Ho. Okay, so while that's just drying, I can put this aperture on the outside. Not the cleanest piece of window sheet. There we go. Okay, so this is going to go onto here, and I'm going to find my glue and just put a little bit of glue all the way around, and I'm just going to let that go tacky. Actually, you could put it on here or you could put it on this piece, just making sure that I have got it the right way around and the right size and all of that. So I'm just going to put the lightest amount, and normally on window sheet I wouldn't use wet glue. You could use our fine tip glue applicator. The secret is definitely don't put too much glue on. Okay, and I'm also going to let that sit for a minute to go slightly tacky. Okay, so I'm going to pop that there to the side. Here's my inside, so I'm going to find my eraser, and I just put my fingers in the glue. Here's one. Always make sure you're using a good quality rubber for this. You don't want to end up with smudge marks if you're using a old pencil rubber or something. Especially if you have young children or grandchildren in the house. Okay, so there's my inside. I'm just quickly going to colour that in. So this is light crumb cake. This is my go-to colour for most animals, as you will know. So it's quite easy to colour in. It's not a huge amount, but you do just need to have a light hand and not go too press too hard. Just keep it nice and light touch. Okay. There we go. This would be quite fun with any images, and you could use just a different die cut for each one. If you had one of the large Christmas trees, that would be quite nice with a sentiment on the inside. Okay, let's do a bit of green, old olive I've got here for his sack. So I hope everybody's had a good day. We've had wacky weather here today. We've had rain, we've had hail, we've had blue skies, you name it, we've had it. Okay, a little bit of Poppy Parade for our Father Christmas's hat and his little suit. And I know this is quite small, so you won't see a lot of detail. I will lift it up to the camera. And let's just add, I've got dark daffodil delight, which I'm going to use for the sleigh. So I've just got dark around the edges, and then I'm going to use light to fill in, a little bit darker there. Like that. And then the light one. Just blending that in. Right. Okay. It's difficult to know what those other elements are because they're quite small. So let's just do a blue present here for a bit of interest. There's a little bit up there. And then this is his rug. Let's do that in light grey granite. Okay, that will do. Right, so the reason that I stamped that separately is because I knew that was going to come through the back. And I can now pop this on the inside. Also gives me an opportunity to reposition if I need to and trim it down, and I know then that it's not going to come onto the back. So let's just put, oh, this one's got some in. I don't know why I didn't pick this one up. Okay. So just got some tape on there. And I'm just very lightly going to place it in position. Okay. Check that that's going to fit, which it is. And then press it down. And then I'm going to pick up my window sheet that's got my now tacky glue on it and pop this over that aperture. And because I've allowed it to go tacky, it means it's partly dry, which means it will dry quicker. And it also doesn't move around. You know, if you normally put window sheet and wet glue together, it goes skating. But in this case, it will set much quicker. And if you are putting anything together with wet glue, and this applies particularly if you're making boxes or 3D items, then do allow that to go slightly tacky first, and then it will hold much quicker, and especially if you're doing boxes. So there's our card with our inside. So now I can put a sentiment here if I want to, or I've got space here inside for the writing. You could also write here on the left. If you wanted to, you could put another frame on the reverse of here. So you could cut out a cherry cobbler frame, for example, if you wanted to, but I think that's okay. It looks tidy on the inside, doesn't it? So do we need a sentiment across the bottom? Let's see what we've got to hand. Let's find my glasses. So let me just show you the other elements of the nested essential dies. So you have these ones here, and you have the little banner ones, and there's another one or two of this size, and then there are 4 of this size. So this is the largest, and then there's another 3 going down. The others are out at the moment, being die cut for my class. Right, sentiment, and we can finish that off to see what I've got that will look nice. So we have wishing you a season of cheer would fit across there. That would work quite nicely, wouldn't it? And we've got ho ho ho, so that would work quite well, I think. So let's grab a block and look for some strips that we can use, which I've hidden very carefully. Nowhere to be seen. Okay, let's find one, and we'll just use our die cut to cut them out. So I'm thinking to use Pebbled Path, keep it the same, but you could use Cherry Cobbler if you wanted to match it. Hi Kerry. Sorry, I've only just spotted you join us. I hope you are well. Good morning to you. So let's pop this one on here. Wishing you a season of cheer. Yep, that would definitely work. Let me just see if one of the stylish shapes would fit that nicely. So it does fit this, but to me that is a bit too wide. This one is too small, So what I might do is just trim it with my trimmer. Okay, let's pop that out of the way. Now I need to clean my work surface, and that's because it's my twin's birthday tomorrow, and my daughter has four cats, 3 of which reside with me and 1 of which resides with her. And so I wanted to send her a card from her cats, and so I borrowed Zach and put his paw into a Berry Burst ink pad and then popped it onto the card. And I've forgotten that, of course, that he still had Berry Burst ink, and now I've got paw prints. Probably you can't see them. This one here and one here on my paper. I'm glad to hear you're good. Right, let's just try this. I'm cutting at an angle. It might be too big, but we'll have a look and see. If not, sending warmth your way might work. I think that works. I could drop it right the way down. I think that works, and then you've got a full line of crosses. Can you see? Whereas if I have that part the way, you haven't. You've just got a full line there. So I'm thinking down to the bottom, like so. Okay. Shall I put that on dimensionals? Yeah, maybe I will, because this is quite flat. It will go nicely in a card without any extra hassle. So 1, 2, 3. Peel those off. And then again, just a light touch to put this on so you've got the opportunity to move it. So let's see. Okay, 4 and 4. Just about right. Get away with it. And there we are. There's our sweet card. So ho ho ho. You could put a Christmas sentiment in there as well, but I think you do need to leave space for somebody to write their sentiment. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that. So you could use this Aperture design with anything. Ideally dies. You can use 2 slices of punch, but the problem is the reach of the punch determines exactly where that's going to be on your card. Whereas this one I've got higher, this one I've got in the middle. So I wonder which one you prefer. Whether you like the higher one with the sentiment. I suppose if you had a small sentiment you could put it here, but it's not quite as aesthetically pleasing, is it? I don't think. And of course that does leave me with this that I've cut out. So this now is self-adhesive, and I've also got this as well. So there's lots of things you could do with these. You could stack them up together and then cut out panels with them. So it's a really nice shape. I do like it, I have to say. Thank you, Carol. Nice to have you join us. I hope you're well. I did catch your live briefly, I think it was yesterday. So that was nice to see you. So there we go. So an Aperture card with a window sheet using the dies from the Nested Essentials, and also using the new papers And these were called, oh, they've all just escaped, Shining Christmas. So they're really nice foiled papers. So this, if you like, is the reverse of the paper, but also using this fabulous self-adhesive glimmer card. It's nice and substantial. You get 2 sheets, a silver and a gold, and it really is. I don't know if you can see how glittery that is, but it's non-shed. Don't you love that? So thank you so much, everybody. That is all I have time for today, as they say. So apologies for being late, but if this time suits you better, do let me know, or if you prefer 8 o'clock instead of 7, so I know a lot of people may be eating at that time here in the UK anyway. So do feedback if there's a preferred time for you, and I do look forward to catching up with you next week. So we'll be here Monday morning, and I will be sharing some more examples of this stamp set, and also another new stamp set which has just come out, which is this one here. And this has been brought out to celebrate World Card Making Day, which is on October the 7th. And I use these really pretty papers which have also just been launched. So you can check all of these on my website. I do love this paper, so I think I might just have to make some more cards. Maybe I'll do a birthday version of this and use papers in the Aperture rather than a stamp. So maybe I'll do that tomorrow. So thank you so much, everybody. Do take care and have a great morning, afternoon or evening, depending on when you're watching and where you're watching from. And I look forward to catching up with you soon. As I said, this card was inspired by Kimberly Tolbert, not a name I recognise. I think she goes under the name of Stamp Happy. So if you've come across her, then yeah, do look her up if you haven't seen her before. So thank you so much, everyone. Do take care. Have a great weekend if I don't catch up with you before then. And I look forward to crafting with you again really soon. Bye for now.